Oh my God, Jesus,
You
Kelly.
stressed? Can I talk to
I
you?
am, yes, I'm very stressed.
Okay.
I'm on edge.
Yep. I want to talk to you about it.
Where?
Same place.
I swear that door gets heavier every day.
Okay. So now it's my turn. You want me to use my lawyer brain? I have a question for you.
Yep.
Ready? Okay. How long has Priya had a crush on me?
Kelly, I
Would
don't know the
a
answers to that
week?
question.
Yeah, you don't know. I
That's
don't
not the
know.
point,
No, no,
Kelly.
no. Because do you know that on multiple occasions, different people have approached me to tell me that Priya has a crush on me? No, you don't. I was approached at my creamery by someone I don't even know to say Priya has a big crush on you. Hell, Casey told me Priya has a crush on me. You know Casey, right? The one who dates Amber? The one who's the defense attorney for those awful guys that hit me in the back of the head and killed my coworker? So, let's not pretend like Kelly made the mistake of the century with one date. If the defense wanted to argue her credibility, they already have what they needed. Now, your side, witness credibility. That's very important, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wrong. Your case is contingent upon what they say on the recording. That's what
This
Priya
is
is
true.
acquiring. The recording will be scrutinized, not so much her and what she has to say. It's what is on that tape. That's the only thing the court cares about. That
No,
and the fact that
it's
she
not.
didn't lead them into a confession. The fact that she didn't hold a gun up to their head to get a confession.
The defense will argue that Priya did this for reasons.
And it
She
was
put
there before the
herself,
date.
but, but her being attracted to you, having a crush on you, is all irrelevant
And
when
I
it
can't
comes to the
control
defense.
Yeah, I can't
No,
control that, and
Kelly,
she's already been talking about it.
but
So the same way
you
you heard
can
about the date, she's already talked about it.
but that you can still control the narrative, Kelly. And you've not done that. You've
She
let emotions
already
get in the way of the narrative.
she already made the decision to do this.
And how do you
How
think
do
it
you
would go
know
if you
it?
put Priya on the stand and the defense attorney would say, "Are you attracted to Miss Lowry?" And she answers yes, compared to, "Are you dating Miss Lowry?" And the answer is yes. The verbiage is very, very important. The details are very, very important, Kelly.
So
And
if we're dating, that means those guys saying, I killed somebody. It means nothing because we're dating, even though
I'm
it
not.
came out of their mouth.
When did I say it means nothing, Kelly? I didn't say it means nothing. I'm saying it severely hinders the case because
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden Priya is brought into it more than she would have had to be in the past. That's my point. I wanted to keep Priya out of this as much as humanly possible for her safety, but all she's done with this and all you've done with this is put her more in the firing line because the defense are going to want to know who the star witness is. And the conversation is going to be recorded, whether it's played in court or whether it's a transcript. They're going to know who the conversation was with. Okay, they're going to work out that it's Priya. And the first thing the defense attorney is going to do is they're going to hear about you and Priya dating, or about Priya being attracted to you and that being the catalyst. Okay, but what you've done is you've strengthened the defense's case by moving that on from to a simple attraction to a dating relationship. That is my point. That is what has made me so angry because it's hindered a murder investigation.
She wanted to do this before the date.
Yeah,
She came to you.
Kelly. You've got brothers that are lawyers. You've got an uncle that is a lawyer. You know that the truth is irrelevant. It's the story that the lawyer can tell in court. Their story is that now so much more juicy and so much more heart wrenching and so much more believable now that there's who doesn't love a little bit of love involved. Beforehand, it was black and white. They didn't have a defense. It's on record. It's on the tape. It's on
It
the
was
recording.
never black and
There's
white. The second she told
no
Casey about it, it wasn't black and white.
Kelly. You're misunderstanding what I'm saying to you. All this has done is strengthened the defense's case. Okay, that's all this has done. Okay, it doesn't matter if it was just an attraction beforehand, or now that it's got to a dating stage, all that it's doing is strengthening the defence's case. And you're allowing them to write a narrative, whilst false and whilst in their favour. That is what court is all about. It's about telling a story. And what you've done is you've created a fantastic story for them to tell. And then it's up to the jury or the judge to decide, because they've now been allowed to tell a story. Beforehand, that story was, whilst not black and white, I appreciate that. Is that the wrong verbiage? Whilst not black and white, you've made it a lot more colourful than what it was before. That is my point. That's why I'm angry. That's why I'm pissed off. Please do not think that I'm pissed off for any other reason.
Okay. But then my question would be, if you know that this person is dating someone that you assaulted in the past, why would you still freely admit to that? You're either
Look,
really stupid or you want leverage. And how can you get leverage over something that you've done in the past? If anything, you would make a new threat for the future.
Okay, so there's another reason for how stupid this is. Priya's now going to go to these people and try and get this confession out of them, and they're going to say, "Oh wait, but aren't you now? Are you not now dating Kelly? Like, do you not see how that then?"
How do you not know that's the reason why they told her in the first place? Because I told you what they said. They tried to spin it like they were the good guys. She got caught in the crossfire. Whatever. They still admitted it to her.
Yeah, my point.
They tried to make it seem so innocent as possible.
You've given them a story to tell that didn't need to be told until after the fact.
But don't act like it throws out the whole case, because that's not what I did.
But Kelly, we didn't have anything going against us before this. You've given them an out. You've given them that golden ticket that every defense attorney wants. Kelly, I don't even know if the defense attorneys in this city are good enough to even pick up on it. All right? And that's what it comes down to.
She was right there, like rooting for Priya.
Okay. They might not even pick up on it. They might not go down this route. But the way I argue every case, the way I plan every case, is I put myself on the other side and I ask myself what I would do. And I would put Priya on the stand. If I found out that it was Priya, based on the recording or based on the transcript, if we found out that it was Priya or it was you, I would put you on the stand and I would say the only reason that you got involved with Priya was to force her to get a confession out of her friend. Whilst it's completely false and a complete load of lies, it doesn't matter. That would be my job as a defense attorney.
And you could do that, but what is on the recording will debunk it. You didn't hear any.
It won't debunk it.
You didn't hear any coercion. As long as there's no coercion or like leading questions, it's like, so tell me again about that. Like, they have to freely admit it. That's the goal of this.
And that, as the prosecutor, will be my argument, Kelly. But that's not what I am saying. Is you've given them a story to tell, and that's the disappointing thing.
They've already had it.
No, they didn't. They didn't, Kelly. They didn't. Or they had a lesser story to tell. But what you've did is you've put meat on the bones of their story, and you've added a few more chapters to it, and you've made the front of the book look a hell of a lot more shinier than it did before. That's what's disappointing. That's why I'm angry. That's why I'm stressed.
It's not my intention to give you more work. It's not.
It's not what it's. Kelly, you know how much I like you. I've not hidden that fact.
How would you feel if what she's doing, like, there is a chance, like, you have a right to face your accuser. This is the person that did that. They could literally request that she make an appearance. They could.
Yep.
Because she's the one that's on the tape. She's taking that risk by just agreeing to this. At any moment, they could ask for her to come and, like, stand up, defend you. You did this.
Yep. And the defense will rip her apart for dating you. It's the only story to tell. Whilst what is said in the recording is on the recording, they will make it sound like Priya made them say that on the lead up to what's not on the recording. Because all they're going to hear in the recording is the words that they say and potentially a couple of lines before that. What the defense attorney should be doing in that situation is saying this has been a build-up of weeks of poking and prodding and trying to get them to say something because you're in a romantic relationship with one of the people involved. That is the right thing for them. Maybe not the right thing. That is what they will have to do as a defense attorney in order to try and get over this murder conviction. But I go back to something I said earlier. I don't know if the defense attorneys in this city are smart enough to do that. Okay? And I am sorry for getting angry at you, Kelly. That is not my intention. I am pissed off. Okay? I'm pissed off for a number of reasons. I'm pissed off that this has just made this 10 times harder to win than what it needed to be. It didn't need to be this difficult. And you have made it more difficult by that. And I'll be having a very, very similar conversation with Priya when I see her. You've let attraction get in the way of something that could have waited for 2 damn weeks.
Yeah, and that would be something that the defense could use against us. Because unless I specifically say, we're in a case, like, let's just pretend we don't like each other for a few weeks. Like, let's hold off until the case is over. And you see how it is? She tells people she has a crush. She tells people she has a date. She's gonna tell people, I have a date with Kelly in 2 weeks, a month, whatever. There's something for her to gain. So that would have been bad too.
Okay, you've got to understand that I have a job here to do. Okay, and what I have to now weigh up is whether or not the deal that I've made Priya is worth the risk of this case not going through. Because they can now put in bias. The reputation's now in the line of the prosecution. I just, and now that I know, when it comes down to discovery, like, I have to disclose information. That's the law. So it's all cute and fancy, and I know I've said the line of I would stand on the roof and shout that I'm dating you. Whilst that's all cute and cuddly that Priya's willing to shout and tell everybody that she's dating you, she has not thought about the consequences involved in those actions.
I didn't think she would do that.
Well, maybe you should pick your dates a little bit better then, Kelly.
It's just like, how can you be so cold and mean to someone who's willing to risk so much for you?
Who was asking you to be cold and mean? It's not two things that you're even capable of doing.
Well, if
But
I tell her that I can't date her for a month, like, let's wait till after my trial. Like,
a conversation with Priya surely could have easily been that we've got this case coming up. It's probably not going to look great. Use that brain that is so beautiful that's inside your head, Kelly.
No matter how I said it in my head, it just feels like, let's wait till after the case. The case is what's important. It sounds like I'm using her.
Oh yeah, because a murder case isn't important.
It is.
Exactly.
But like
Kelly.
how I told you, I didn't want to tell you because it would feel like I'm using her. She told me this stuff. Yes, it's advantageous to my case. Let's focus on the case. I don't want her to think for a second like I'm using her. I don't use people. I'm not like that.
Do you know what is also sitting, and it's in the back of my head, and it keeps coming to the front as a question that, like, where were your professional boundaries there, Kelly? You just get caught up in the moment. Like you're not exactly not used to people being attracted to you or what to date you. Like, where was your professional boundary there? Where was your thinking? Actually, this is probably not a good idea with this case going on. What can I do to mitigate the situation? How can I have this conversation with Priya without letting her down, but also keeping an option open there? Like, it just feels like that wasn't even thought about because you got so caught up in the moment of these big grand gestures that were promised to you.
No,
Like, that's not you,
she
Kelly.
didn't promise anything. And yes,
Just,
yes, it is me. You just don't know that side yet.
it's not you, Kelly. You're so much more than that. But at least you should
If you
be.
ask my uncle why I got fired from the golf course, it's because I have a really bad problem of mixing business with pleasure.
It's just created a massive liability for the case, Kelly. That's the issue. The defense will exploit this to its full potential. The credibility of both people will be destroyed, or I could lose the key witness. Oh, because they could motion to have the key witness removed because of this, and the judge could vote for judge could go for that. And then what do we have? We've got absolutely nothing. Without Priya, there is no case at all. And what you've done is you've risked that.
I wasn't trying to make it worse for you, and if you don't want to argue it, I understand.
I will only argue cases that I think I can win,
I know.
but I will not let personal relationships be a catalyst for me to make decisions. I am logical, I'm analytical, and I remove the personal feelings. That's why I'm cold to people. That's why people don't like me because I'm arrogant or because I'm everything that they say that I am. I have to be able to flick a switch. I have to be able to sit down with the paperwork and go through it analytically and break it down to the cold hard facts. And I have to then put myself on the other side of the desk and pretend to be the defense attorney and work out exactly if I was in their shoes what I would do, and I would rip you apart, and I would rip Priya apart, and I would rip the whole case apart. I would motion to have her removed due to bias. I would fight that cause. If it wasn't done, I would then rip them apart on the stand. That's what I would do as a defense attorney, and that's what I have to take into account deciding what happens next.
I mean, I still think you're wrong. Bias motivated her to get it, but she didn't motivate them to say anything they wouldn't have.
And Kelly, I'm not denying that. I'm not saying otherwise. But my point is still,
No, I get
you've
it.
given them a
You've,
narrative.
yeah, there's a lot more you have to shut down.
I still have to put a deal on the table for Priya to even do it in the first place. I just don't know if that deal is worth it. That's the question I have to ask. Is this all one big ploy for somebody to get an immunity deal that, when on record, says things that they then cannot be charged for? These are all the things that I need to work out and run through my head. I'm willing to fork out a lot of money for a safe house separately for the two of you, and I'm willing to put an immunity deal on the table, and it could just be a massive ploy. And do you know who shoulders all of that risk and all of that publicity? I do.
I wasn't trying to make you look bad.
You're not making me look bad. It's not what you're doing.
But you will if you go to court and you have to argue this. I wasn't trying to make you look bad.
I know your intentions weren't to make me look bad. That's not what I'm saying. That's not my point. I I'm just I'm disappointed that you didn't see the bigger picture right in front of you. So much more to you than what I think you even realize sometimes, Kelly. And you can hide behind all the cute little comments, and like, you are an intelligent, beautiful human being.
No, I'm not. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not fit to be a lawyer. This is why I don't even try. I make mistakes like over and over again.
You just need to think of consequences for actions. Whilst the actions may have been pure and thought, they were not thought out. And now I've got to make a decision based on everything of how I move forward with it. And that not just affects Mr. Ina's family, it does not just affect you, it does not just affect Priya, but it also affects us. And I have loved every single minute that I have spent with you, every single second that I've had getting to know you. But I did not think that something like this would happen. That's why I'm so disappointed from everything that I've got to know you, that I just didn't think that you would be so careless. You know, just, I don't know. Do you have plans to see Priya at any stage tonight?
We are supposed to work on my car.
You're supposed to work on your car.
Yeah, but I already got it fixed. I didn't.
Okay.
I had a friend that used to check my cars, so slipped my mind, and the radiator broke down on me.
Yeah. When was that meant to be?
I don't know. I just went to the farmer's market, and then my car started smoking, so I managed to get it all the way back, but then it died, so I was stuck at the mechanic shop until someone came to work.
Okay, but wait. When were you meant to be seeing Priya?
Uh, just like nothing formally, just like when we see each other.
Okay. Well, again, I still need to speak to her. I just need to work out what I'm going to offer. I've got concerns, so I had to work them through in my head. I had to work through a lot of stuff in my head. I'll be up in my office, okay?
Is there anything that you want me to do before I make another careless mistake?
Kelly, don't make it out like don't do that. It's not fair. It's not what I'm trying to do here, Kelly. So don't make it into that. Do not have to run your decisions past me. That's not the point here. You know that. All you're trying to do is try and make me feel bad.
I'm not. I'm literally just trying to make it easier for you.
You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube.
I know.
So it's done. I need to now make a plan of action of how I move forward.
And if you are going to move forward, I'm asking, is there anything you need me to do or not to do?
I can't ask you to do anything, Kelly.
Yes, you can.
No, Kelly, I can't. You're your own person.
I'm gonna
can
make
make
my
your-
own decision, but that doesn't mean you can't ask.
I ask that you don't put any more pressure on anybody involved in the case, whether consciously or subconsciously. Let the case go through. Stay out of the limelight. Stay out of people's mouths. Whilst you can't control that completely, you can certainly try.
I can.
Be in my office if you need me, okay?
Mm.
I'm sorry.
The only other option I can think of is Lucy. If Alfredo can get Lucy and whatever she has can corroborate whatever Priya has. I just wanted 5 minutes where the city was in a total hellhole. And for those 5 minutes, one date doesn't mean you're dating, though. Like you said, I went out with Brooks, but to be honest, you and Brooks weren't actually dating. We have to stop dating. Priya said she had a crush on me. We went out on a date. It was great. And then we stopped. I wanted it to stop. Because I care about her. Stay away from that. I don't want there to be any type of coercion in this, like, oh, she likes me, so, maybe if she's seen as my hero, she'll get a date. No. Been there, did that. Dated, done. And I told her I didn't want to go out on any more. Justice is not something that can be coerced or manipulated. It's black and white. And if that's what she wants for me, I am truly grateful. But if she decides that it's not something that she wants to do, unless there is some sort of romantic satisfaction, that's not okay. And I made her aware of that, of the risk that she's taking, of what it could do to her family, potentially. I want her to be sure in the decision that she's making about her life, without the added pressure of me. So I ended it. And you can ask anybody, we're not dating. Yeah, 'cause she understands and she respects my decision. But for people who are dating, do you ever see us making out anywhere? Kind of affection in public. She doesn't do me favors. She is my knight in shining armor. And to not jeopardize